So I totally a year ago would be like, hell yes, money, baby, and I would go after it. Now, after pretty much living my life not having TV, eliminating everything, not buying a new car, working on building relationships, like in the past 6 months, my life has changed dramatically and realized that, you will live within the means you have. And that what you do every day when you work half of your awake life, you better like what the hell you're doing. And if you don't, you're not going to be happy. If you make 40 grand or 80 grand, you'll find a way to make it work. And so now I would say no. If you're living in poverty in your startup and you're not making any money, then yeah, I mean, there's definitely a relative income level that is the ability to live. But besides that, I think, people live within whatever means they have. And so I definitely would not, if you're doing all right and you're fine, I would not, I wouldn't personally. I don't find value in money. Like, I just got a great raise at my corporate job. I ended up quitting my job in the same conversation. And not anything on that matter, but it just was like, it doesn't matter to me. I better like what I do every single day.
Well, that's a good point, Shane, and I will agree with you to a certain extent, but I also have to think if the corporate okay, you're building a startup, right, and you're running. This is actually what happened to me, and this could be very interesting to people. I had my startup, and then so I was for 2 years I was working and hustling hard, right, and after 2 years we launched a couple sites that didn't go as well as we hoped. For a lot of reasons that we can talk about. But I was then offered a position in a corporate job to actually kind of like build a startup for this other guy. And I actually took it because of many life situations, personal circumstances that happened to me. So in that sense, I was actually an entrepreneur that went back to the corporate job, but was still able to have my startup on the side. Well, literally, I was working both full-time because I love Virology, which is my company, and then the corporate job was giving me a steady income. Like, going from not having any money to all of a sudden having a lot of money is like crazy, right? Because then you can save money. But then when you're asked, hey, time to leave the corporate job and go full time with your startup, that's a huge leap to make. And I found that a lot of people, I'm able to make it, and like the CTO who I live with, awesome guy, he's able to make it. But I found that one of the things about the corporate world is that it, in a way, kind of like sucks you into the point where you can't leave the paycheck. You know what I mean?
I totally agree with you. And so to your point, you did it backwards, and I was answering it in her point of, do I leave a startup to go to the corporate world? If you're doing them together, corporate world can be a blessing when you have the money to fund your startup. So I guess it's a difference of, are you working on your startup to hopefully make it someday, and you need the money to be able to fund it and have the security so you can go home with peace of mind and work on it at night and dive in, or are you leaving the startup completely to go to a corporate job? I guess that's what I was, that's more of what I was getting at.
Shane, can you tell us how in the world you're one of the guys that, let me get you in here. Shane, you're one of the guys who's like everywhere. I mean, you talk to people so well, and you do a great job at following up, asking people how they're doing. For example, guys, this fits into marketing too, Paul. Like, Shane somehow remembered that my girlfriend was coming up this week, and I get a tweet, and I was like, hey June, how's when's the girlfriend coming up? How's that going? And I mean, I don't remember stuff like that. How do you do that, Shane?
I honestly don't know. I think I've been practicing on AOL Instant Messenger since I was in 6th grade. But I think that business in life is based on relationships, and what this thing called Twitter and everything allows us to do for me, it's a doorway. And for me, you realize that it's not about sending out links all day. For me, I really don't use it like that at all. Carlos made a post today about how he's mad at Twitter. Not mad at Twitter, but Twitter
Yeah.
is nostalgic to him because it's not used the same. And I wasn't around for that, and I've used it. It's all I do is at replies, and all I do are thank yous, and all I really use it for is to bridge the gap offline. And the relationships I made, like the job I just got, the business deal that I made, through Twitter is kind of crazy. And I do the whole whiteboard drawing of how it all happened, but it's about doing things and walking in the back door. Don't walk out the door asking. Don't sit there and be like, respond to someone and be like, hey, can I get something? No, just ask them how they are. Care about who you're talking to. Find people that you like. Find people that inspire you, make you do better things every day, and connect with them. Let them know what they're doing is good. Let them know that you like what they're doing. And how do I remember a lot of things? I don't know. I used iCal a ton, and I put in little to-dos. I didn't put in that your girlfriend was coming to visit you. I don't know. I just remember that kind of stuff. But I use it as that. I use it as a personal relationship tool, and then take it offline. If you only keep it on Twitter, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a noisy feed, and you're just another person. You take it to Skype, you take it to real life, you take it past that point. That's how you build real relationships in this space of Twitter. Twitter's just kind of a little doorway, but then have something to say when you walk through as well.
The bigger the idea, the harder it is to make it real, true or false. For example, competitor of Twitter or Facebook. I'll take a crack at this one first, Shane, if you want to let me do that. So, the bigger the idea, the harder it is to make it real. I've seen two sides to this puzzle. A lot of the lifestyle design bloggers online really focus on finding something very niche, and something very small, so that you can create an automated business out of it and build your income that way. I'm sure we've all heard that phrase before. And I think in a certain way, yes, if the company is smaller, if your target market is more targeted, and you're not trying to rule the world, it's going to be a little bit easier to implement. Your product's going to come out quicker, and you're able to build like what Seth Godin calls a tribe around it. So in a way, yes, if it's a smaller idea, really focused, it's a little bit easier to do. You said it's not just about content, and you were pretty adamant about it, and it's also about getting the big guys or doing something for the big guys. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, I think that content, when people say content is king, that it's true, but they're just saying that content is the most important thing you should focus on. Sometimes saying content is king gets blown out of proportion as in it's all that matters, which I think is a very single-minded way to view it. I think that building relationships with actual decision makers is one of the big components to social media marketing, is one of the big components to getting your startup, your blog, whatever it is, recognized. And the best way that I found to do that is to find the big name guys that have side projects, or gals that have side projects, that you can genuinely support. Because if you fake support a project, if you're there just for yourself, it's easy to tell. But all the big bloggers I know, all the big decision makers, even at companies, even at startups that are web-based startups, have side projects. And if you do a little bit of research, you can find out, this is their main blog, here's their side project, here's their whatever project. And if you have a genuine interest in what their side project is, reach out and genuinely help them. That's a much easier way to get in contact with them. If you want to help Darren Rouse, there's much better ways than try to do something through ProBlogger, for example, or any other big name blogger. So that's a strategy that I've used that has really, really helped my growth, and I think is like one of the best things about Twitter, for example, is you can really get in there and meet those kind of people.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. And for those who don't know, Adam is awesome, first of all, and his ebook is launching next week. Unautomate Your Finances. I can't wait for that. We actually have some really cool things planned out. He's going to be my guest live person next week. So Adam, thanks for joining us, man. It is now 8:00. Shane, I've had a wonderful time with you, man. You're an awesome guy.
It's been good, man. It's been good, dude.
I know, and thank you everybody who's on here. I mean, I would list you off. Adam Baker, Al Tamasang, Andrew Norcross, Andrew Swenson. Oh, sing a song, man, please.
What? And we're
Sing us something,
leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when we'll be back again. Don't ever let me go. 'Cause we're leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when we'll be back again. Oh, June, you're not gonna be around this weekend when I'm in San Francisco.